Hey guys, it's Miss M. I know we had a little trouble with direct proportion the other day, so I'm going to go through the whole Google form so that hopefully we understand a little better. I really suggest that you take notes while I'm going through this video, pause and rewind as needed. So number one, we want to tell whether the table represents a direct proportion. To do that, we want to check y over x for each column here. So first I have 5 over 1, which simplifies to 5, 10 over 2, which simplifies to 5, and 15 over 3, which simplifies to 5. Since all of these numbers are constant along the whole table, yes, my table represents a direct proportion. So I'm going to choose yes and move on. Now, this is the same table. It wants me to identify the constant. To find the constant, we do y over x, which we already did. So my constant, which is labeled as k, is 5. So in my answer, I'm going to put k equals 5. And then I want to write a direct proportion equation. Remember, direct proportion equations are y equals kx, where k is a number. We already found that k is 5, so I can just plug into the equation. You are only plugging in a number for k, so y and x stay variables. So my equation is going to be y equals 5x. And let's put that into the form, y equals 5x. Next. All right, my next table, let's use a new slide. Let's do, remember, y over x always. So I have 20 over 3, which we cannot simplify. So let's move on to 40 over 6, which I can simplify. So let's divide by 2. We get 20 over 3. That works. Then I have 50 over 9. 50 over 9 I cannot simplify. 50 over 9 does not match the 20 over 3, so this is not a direct proportion table. So I'm going to choose no. If it is no, we cannot find constant and we cannot write an equation. Next, moving on. All right, direct proportion equation. Is this a direct proportion equation? Y equals kx, where k is a number. We have p equals 0.25q. Does this match here? We have our y, we have our x, and we have our constant being a number. So yes, this is a direct proportion equation. Of course, if I have a direct proportion equation, I can identify a constant. My constant here is 0.25. That's it. It's already in the form for me, nice and easy. All right, moving on here. My next equation, I have 4.5a equals b plus 12. Now, anytime I have plus a normal number, this is no good, because even if I get this a by itself, if I divided by 4.5 on both sides, I would have a equals b plus 12 over 4.5. This is no good. I never want this plus anything. So right away, as soon as I saw that plus 12, I can say no and move on. Okay. A lot of us had trouble on this one. Y is directly proportional to x, and y equals 10 when x equals 15. So I have y equals 10 when x equals 15. And I want to write a direct proportion equation. Now, to have a direct proportion equation, we need a constant. We know our constant is y over x. So it tells me y is 10 and x is 15. I can simplify this. Both can be divided by 5, so I have 2 over 3. So my constant is 2 over 3, but I'm not done because it wants an equation. Remember, my equation is y equals kx, where I need to plug in a number for k. So my equation is y equals 2/3 x. Put it into the form, y equals 2/3 x. Next. All right, tell whether the graph represents a direct proportion. Let's remind ourselves what graphs need to have to be a direct proportion. They need to be a straight line, which this is. They need to pass the origin. Here's our origin, hits the origin, that's good. And it can't lie on top of the x or y axis. So the line isn't on top of y and it isn't on top of x. We have a nice diagonal line. So yes, this is a direct proportion graph. Now we can identify the constant. 2 ways we could do this. One, nice and easy, we can say where x equals 1, go up to the line, what is y? K equals 500. But we can also do our k equals y over x. I look here, y is 500, x is 1, equals 500. All right, and then nice and easy, we know y equals kx, so y equals 500x. Move on. Does this graph represent a direct proportion? No, it does not hit the origin. No. We cannot find a constant, we cannot write an equation, move on. Okay. Is the amount of pesos directly proportional to the amount of US dollars? Look at this graph. Straight line hits the origin, doesn't lie in the XY axis. Yes. It does represent a direct proportion. How many pesos do you get for $3? Dollars is on the x-axis, find 3, go up to the line. Y is 36. It's 36 pesos for $3. Convert 24 pesos to dollars. Find 24 pesos over here, go over to the line, it's 2 US dollars. What is the exchange rate when you convert dollars to pesos? So we want for $1, how many pesos? $1 is 12 pesos. So if we're talking about when x is 1 and what is y, that 12 pesos is also our constant. So when I want to write the direct proportion equation, if my constant is 12, y equals 12x. Next. All right. The height of a stack of books, h, is directly proportional to the number of books, n. All right. So we have h is directly proportional to n. All right. The height of the stack of books is 10 books. Oh, sorry. The height of the stack of 10 books is 12 inches. So here, we want to find the constant. We don't have y and x here. We have h and n. So whichever variable comes first goes on the top. So h goes on the top, n goes on the bottom. H, go back to the problem, represent inches. So find inches, it's 12 inches. So 12 goes on top. And n represented books. Go back to books, we have 10 books. This can be simplified, divide by 2, we get 6 over 5. So our constant is 6/5. And we want to write an equation. Remember, h came first, so h equals 6/5 n. Now we want to find the height of a stack of 24 books. So let's use our equation. H equals 6/5 n. Books was n, so we're going to plug in for n. So we have h equals 6/5 times 24 over 1. So when we multiply across here, we get 6 times 24 is 144. 5 times 1 is 5. And 144 divided by 5 is 28.8. So here we go. The height is 28.8 inches. Okay, a couple more problems. George has to pay $30 in taxes for every 100 he earns. Last summer he earned $3,680. How much must he pay in taxes? So I'm going to use a ratio for this one. Let's do taxes over dollars. We have to pay $30 in taxes for every $100 we earn. We earned $3,680 last year, and we want to know the taxes. So let's use our cross products. We're going to multiply diagonally using the butterfly method. So 100 times x is 100x. 30 times 3,680 is 110,400, and then we have to divide by 100 to get x by itself. Look, get rid of these zeros here. So we have $1,104. Okay. It takes Christy 2 hours to paint 5 boats. So let's keep using our proportions. We have hours to boats, right? Okay. So we have 2 hours and 5 boats. How long will it take her to paint 10 boats? So let's line up the 10 boats here. I'm going to cross multiply. 5 times x is 5x. 2 times 10 is 20. Multiply by the reciprocal or divide. So x equals, cross reduce, x equals 4. Okay. How many model boats can she paint in 10 hours? So let's use our proportions again. So 2 hours to 5 boats. And now we have 10 hours. We want to know how many boats. So again, 2 times x is 2x. 5 times 10 is 50. Multiply by the reciprocal. Divide by 2. X equals 25. So she can paint 25 boats in 10 hours. All right, I believe this is the last question. So P is directly proportional to M. P equals 128 when M is 8. So we have to find the constant first here to find P when M is 10. So we don't have Y and X here. We have P and M. So remember, whichever variable comes first goes on top. So we have P over M. So 128 over 8. Simplify that is 16. So the constant is 16. Write the equation. P comes first. So P equals 16M. And we have M is 10. So we're going to plug in 10 for M. So P equals 16 times 10. P equals 160. Okay. All right. Now let's go back to that slide. We can keep using this. Again, we're going to use the same equation. P equals 16M. Now we want to find M when P is 80. So we're going to plug in for P here is 80 equals 16M. Divide by 16 or multiply by the reciprocal to get M by itself. 80 divided by 16 is 5. So M equals 5. All right, and we are done. Hope this helps. Go back and review whichever